We have now heard the leading arguments for the two candidates, Judge Stephen A. Douglas and Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
Back in 1858, the Lincoln-Douglas debates were held against a backdrop of growing desperation that would eventually result in a civil war, causing the deaths of 500,000 Americans. More than a century and a half later, a presidential debate will take place between two men with similar stakes. Except for in this debate, one of the participants is certifiable.
On November 5th, 2024.
The first debate is only a few days away, and you know Trump's people regret the early date. Why? You've met the candidate, right? I mean, you know who I'm talking about, right?
And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight, and you're in the boat, and you have this tremendously powerful battery, and the battery's now underwater, and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark.
Here's the deal. Trump's not going to show, for a lot of reasons, but mostly just one. With the crowd, Tiny Fingers is in his element. When he has thousands of his Confederate flag militia fawning all over him, he feels empowered. Empowered to stutter through his bag of stupid while they howl like alley cats. But CNN's not going to let him in. So it will be Trump and Biden, with no crowds and a mute button to keep Sergeant Man-Titties quiet. In other words, a real discussion of important issues. That will not happen. In the next 96 hours or sooner, Trump is going to say, nah.
They're going to look up and realize, oh my God, here's the debate. So I want to mention that for folks. We got the new rules. This is next week. It will be different. No opening statements, 2 minutes to answer each question, red lights visible to the candidate when time expires. And a big win for the Biden campaign, given that Trump is a rule breaker, the other candidate who's not speaking will be muted when it's not their turn. Now, that, in theory, applies to both of them. But, of course, more practically, having to wait your turn to speak is something that will affect Trump's style of debate, if you want to call it that. There were a lot of interruptions last time.
I'm not going to answer the question.
Why would you answer that question?
The question is, the question
Supreme Court
is,
Justice, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who?
Something he might have wanted to say for a long time. A lot of people wanted to say. That was then speaking to at the time, the president. They did get progress on these rules. Will that matter, or what will matter next week?
Well, if I was a gambler, actually I am a gambler.
Yeah.
I'd take even money if Trump doesn't show up. Okay, I just think...
You don't think Trump's coming next week?
I mean, I don't know, but if I was, I think he's going to wake up and say and decide. He just like he said he was going to testify in his defense of his trial. He put on a defense. Let him show up. I wouldn't be shocked, but I certainly would not be surprised. If you gave me even money, I'd say he's a no-show. He'll just get up in the morning and say, I'm just not going to do it.
I'm not sure what Trump's excuse is going to be, but the words rigged and unfair and fake news will all be part of it. And Carville's right. The second Trump agreed to the debate, every Republican who hasn't gulped the Kool-Aid felt the same pang of panic. A debate with Biden, with tens of millions of voters, in an arena that restricts Trump from his socio-clown act is all upside for Joe. Even Hannity is reaching out to Tiny Fingers, saying, don't do it, Donnie.
Now, there are some even saying, Mark, that Donald Trump might be wise to just pass on the first debate, wait till he's nominated, then debate him. What would you say to that?
And if you've been paying attention, Biden is not only well-versed on both domestic and world issues, he's been doing this shit for 50-plus years. And he has a strong economy, 100 million women who are fans of Roe, and he's not mentally ill.
I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever. I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation.
When Fox News was gaining traction with their junior high diploma audience by insinuating Biden's slight stutter was actually dementia, they got their tickets punched at the State of the Union when Joe kicked some serious ass, and they freaked, claiming he was on speed or drugs.
Jessica, the man has walked around lethargically for the last 3 years, barely picks his head up, can't hear, is out of breath, falls asleep, skips dinners internationally, dies out during funeral processions. All of a sudden, this guy is like amped, on speed or something.
That is so sweet. So Joe not only still has it, but his opponent, a convicted felon who alternately slept and farted during his trial and who could not even name 10 state capitals, much less debate macroeconomics, won't have his hillbilly cheerleaders or be able to shout at Biden while Biden is destroying him. And that's why Tiny Fingers won't show.
The debate will be held on Thursday, June 27th in Atlanta, hosted by CNN. It will last 90 minutes and will include 2 commercial breaks. There will not be a live audience in the studio, and campaign staff will not be allowed to interact with the candidates. Both campaigns have agreed to allow microphones to be muted throughout the debate, only unmuting during the candidate's time to speak. Both candidates will also not be allowed any pre-written notes or props. They will be provided with a pad and paper.
The last debate in 2020 was won by Biden, on substance mostly, as Trump growled and interrupted while his beer-bellied fan base howled throughout the 2 hours. But as you heard, not this time. And while the worm ate my brain Kennedy hasn't yet hit CNL's polling threshold of 15% to get in the debate, I'm sure Biden wouldn't mind one more crazy person on stage, because that's what this is going to be about. Which one of these guys is least likely to foobar the world? I mean, really, you haven't figured that out yet?
There's been a lot of speculation that not having an audience would deprive Donald Trump of, those people in the crowd cheering for him that he thrives on. And that may be true. But we also know that The Apprentice didn't have a live studio audience for him to feed off of. And while the tapings might not have always been the smoothest run thing, The Apprentice is the most consequential TV show to ever air.
What did that guy just say? The most consequential show to ever air? That legal weed must be some serious shit. The Apprentice was an ego device by a failed businessman with 3 divorces, 6 bankruptcies, and a name in Jeffrey Epstein's travel log. I mean, are you talking about the same guy? The show where Trump was taped saying the N-word time and time again, and the key word being taped? This is going to be live. This guy is giving Trump credit for something he did years ago, before his full-blown sociopathy took over and created this narcissistic cockwaffle. Trump, live, off script, no notes, is like taking Stevie Wonder to a bar and letting him drive home, which is why, as a Biden supporter, I'd love to see this happen. But they know that too, and that's why they won't.
I think we know that Donald Trump knows how to use a camera better than anybody in our political history, potentially even including Ronald Reagan.
Come on, does this sound or look like a guy who knows how to work a camera?
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do, either through the skin or in some other way.
The reason Trump will fail, if he shows, which he won't, is he can't control himself. And this time his fans won't be there. He won't have notes, and when he can't answer a question, his orca-like jowls will start to quiver, and he'll start saying crazy Trump-like shit. I mean, I guarantee the dude doesn't even know how many members there are in Congress. 535. He's not a TV star anymore. He's not the president. He's simply a cautionary tale, a man with an irritable bowel and white pants.
But if you look at them based on past behavior, I don't see anything in the rules that is a benefit to Trump, and they all seem to be something that would help, that would make it a better environment for Biden. And I'm with you, Katie. I don't understand why Trump agreed to these rules. And, Vaughn said, well, he's been saying that he would do it anytime, anywhere, but it's not as if Trump stands by his word or anything. So I am still surprised that they said yes right away to CNN. They said yes right away to ABC, and that they've agreed to these rules.
If I'm wrong and he shows up, it won't mean I'm wrong. It will mean that he's even more mentally ill than advertised, that his handlers have no handle, or maybe they want him to fail. When Lincoln debated Douglas, most people said Douglas won in substance, but Lincoln won in style. But Trump has neither. And Biden's big advantage is he's the underdog. And as we saw at the State of the Union, Joe can still deliver the goods. So I really believe Trump won't be there to debate. But alas, we'll find something for him to do. I wonder what's playing at Ford's Theater.
Who's with me?
Damn right.
We could very well have a sitting president under felony indictment.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore. Am I wrong?
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I'm Chip Franklin.